Greetings, YouTube. As I've said in the past, I am someone that believes in carrying a knife wherever they go, and someone that's been collecting them since I was probably about 12. I've been carrying a knife every day for 35 years. So when I say that I enjoy a good DDC and everyday carry knife, I mean it. Until quite recently, I've been carrying one of these. This is a Spyderco Tenacious, and it has worked admirably. Things I like about it: it's perfect size. It's got the option of carrying your clip in 4 different locations. You can get 2 on that side and 2 on that side, which is very useful. Since it has a thumb hole here, it's completely ambidextrous as far as right and left hand is concerned. It is a liner lock and geared for a right-hand person, but you can't open and close it left-handed. I'm not that smooth at it, but then again, I'm also not left-handed. But the one thing that this knife does not have, it does not have sexy lines. This has sexy lines. This is the Kershaw Tremor, model number 1950. I'll see if I can get a little shot in there. A little blurb on one side which says 1950, the Kershaw logo, and it says patented. And on the other side, you actually have the logo of Kershaw, and someplace in here it's going to say, yeah, it's going to give you the metal number, and I'm going to give you the full specs on this. It is, again, the Kershaw Tremor 1950. Material is 8CR13 MOV satin finish. Handle is textured G10. Blade length 3 3/4 inches, 9.5 centimeters. Closed length 5 1/4 inches, 13.3 centimeters. Weight 6 ounces, 170 grams. I'll put this data down below. Now, things that I was initially interested in this knife for is that I hadn't bought an EDC in quite a while, and this was available on the site known as Woot, WOOT.com, Woot.com, and Woot.com puts up a single item every day, and they sell it till it runs out, and then the next day they put another one up. Occasionally they'll have marathons, or they'll have a number of items in a row, and I've bought a number of very good deals off of this site. And this particular deal here, they were offering a selection of one of 5 Kershaw knives for $12.99, and they have a flat $5 shipping fee. So I picked up this knife right here for $17.99, and that is the lowest price I have ever seen for this knife anywhere. I've searched around. Now, I actually hadn't been exposed to this particular model prior to this sale, so I saw it, I looked at the selection, I'm like, hey, no, I kind of like the lines on that. For 18 bucks complete, I figure I can't lose, so I bought one. Though I have noticed that on Amazon.com they have them available for $25.29, and I have no idea why that odd amount, but they are also offering free shipping if you don't care about how long it takes to get there. So for $25.29, you could own one of these for only a little bit more than I paid for it. Now, my initial impressions were positive. There's no movement. If you do the bump test, I'm not going to do it here because I have it set up, you can't see it, where you take the knife and you hold it like this, and then you bump it onto a hard surface like a wooden table to see if the liner lock will hold. This passes the bump test. It is a right hand liner lock. I can open and close this with my left hand, but again, it is really properly geared for the right hand. Now, it is a speed safe, so there's nothing on this blade at all to allow you to open the blade. There's no thumb hole, no studs, no nothing. The retention is good. If you pull on this, it's not easy to pull out with your fingers. The retention is excellent, so you're not going to really have to worry about this opening up in your pocket at all. You open it, you're putting your finger here, and you push on it. And you're not expending a lot of energy. I'm not having to put force into that. All I'm doing is moving that forward, and it's doing the rest of the work for me. It's wonderfully smooth. It's quick, as you can see from the footage I just gave you. Now, they had this in a satin finish, and you are correct. And unless you are into metal and knives and stuff, you may not appreciate this. But this is literally as smooth as silk. I mean, it's just beautiful. The grind is very nice and even. If you look at the blade like this to see how the grind looks, it's nice and even on both sides. The only critique as far as quality is concerned I could really make on this is that the knife doesn't sit quite centered. The blade is ever so slightly off-centered, but it's only when it's closed, and I could probably, if I really chose to, monkey with that, but I'm not going to. I'm not that pedantic. I don't care if it's not perfectly lined up when it's closed. This is a closed construction, so this is a solid piece of polymer right in there. I find that kind of interesting because you have 3 set screws, and traditionally in lower end knives, like this one for example, that's an open construction, you would not have a solid construction. And I found that interesting because if you'd done that, you would have saved a little bit of weight, of course, but you also would have made it a little easier to clean because you could just clean through the knife, like as you can in the Tenacious. They didn't choose to do that. I'm not really sure why, because I think it probably upped the manufacturing time and cost. So I'm not sure why they didn't do a post-open design. I know if I had designed this, I would have, but that's just me. I use an air gun at work to blow my knives out, so cleaning them is lightning quick regardless. But a lot of people don't. They go in there with a Q-tip or something and clean it, which is kind of annoying to do. This has got some skeletal frame has been cut out in here to lighten it a little bit. Though it's 6 ounces, it's a pretty hefty knife. I'll admit that it is not its best-selling suit. The Tenacious is much lighter, and I noticed this in my pocket. It does have a little more drag. Actually, can make if you don't keep it right up against the seam, you actually can make your pocket buckle slightly, fold slightly, and it's hanging there, which is a little annoying. Because of the shape here, it tapers. I find reaching and pulling it out of my pocket a little more difficult. So I'm going to probably put a lanyard on here, a short one, just to make it easier to grab with my hands. But the grip is marvelous. There is no jimping at all on this blade, but because of these right here, you have a very, very positive grip. I mean, it's very comfortable. It fits in the hand. It's because of this curve here, it's almost like a pistol grip. It's almost like you're and you're just coming straight in like this. And it's a very natural for cutting. You can do this if you want to cut something like, say, you have a piece of rope or something, fold it in half, you want to cut it. Very comfortable. I've had this for a week. I've carried it for a week. The only thing I've been using it for at work have been things like cutting plastic straps and opening tape on boxes and things like that. But it has opened admirably. All the things I needed to do. It deploys smooth as silk, and most importantly, I can open and close this with gloves on, which is a key element for me. I need that feature. Without it, I can't carry a knife. I have a beautiful Benchmade knife that sits in a knife roll in my drawer because I cannot open and close it with my gloves on at work. So it does not get used. But this does get used, and I've been thinking about getting a new EDC just for fun. The Tenacious may very well end up back in the rotation at some point because it is a little smaller, it is a little lighter. As far as design overall, I think this is probably about 10% too big. I would have made the whole knife a little bit smaller, and I think it would have been a little lighter, a little more comfortable, less impact on your pocket real estate. But I realize that my hands aren't particularly large, and there are people who really like a good sized blade, and this has wonderful, wonderful lines. It really does. It's a beautiful knife. I'm really very much impressed by this blade. So I recommend getting out there and getting a copy because it's well worth your time. Oh yeah, you can only put the clip on one side. It has a right tip down, tip up option, but nothing available on the other side. So lefties are kind of out of luck. So if you like Kershaw blades, if you're looking for a good deal, go find yourself a Kershaw Tremor. It's worth your time.